is Dr. Xanya State from UK or from Hong Kong?
United States?
Yes, United States too. So she will give a talk, the anti-aging ecosystem is shifting towards a new direction. I know her for some time. Very good background physics, please. Welcome.
Yes, I do know Dr. Sofra for a very, very long time. And thank you very much for inviting me to IMCAS in this very wonderful conference. And hello to everybody. And I have good news and I have bad news. Which one do you want first? By preference. Okay. So the anti-aging ecosystem is changing. And I hear that from a lot of businessmen. They say everything is unpredictable. The business is unpredictable. We don't know which way it's going. Actually, it's not random. What happens is that because of the pandemic, there is a sudden shift. And most people have not figured it out yet. They think that everything is the way it was. It's not. There is a shift, and the shift is going towards health. On the foreground, people are still coming to look pretty and beautiful, and they're still talking about anti-aging. At the background, everything has collapsed. So there is a sort of a foreground where everybody wants to look slim and beautiful and young, and at the background, there is always that thought, what about diabetes? What about our fatty liver? What about our health? What about a different lifestyle? It's still in the background, but soon it's going to start coming in the foreground. And this is what I'm going to talk about, that you need to start being pioneers if you want to be the first and to start making more money. So health concerns have entered everybody's mind. It's still not real, but it's there. It's right there. So the pandemic has actually broken the path to beauty, but nobody is making the jump yet. And there is sort of a detour, and the detour goes towards health, towards holistic health, towards the orchestra that Dr. Nalini is talking, that the body is like an orchestra. You cannot just change one instrument. You have to change the conductor, you have to change the music, you have to change everything. And that's going to be far more complex. So let's talk about the beginning, okay? David Goldman and Geronimo started all this collagen science that they were promoting with a cool touch. And the part of it is the marketing, that everybody looks young and beautiful because it's a model, and the reality, which, yeah, there is some difference sometimes, other times you don't see that much difference, and but nobody looks like a model after the treatment. Same thing, everybody comes into your clinics because they want to look like this on the left, but they end up looking like that on the right. Sometimes they don't even get a difference, and results will rebound because people stay hungry. Lasers will not control the hunger or metabolism, therefore things will not change. There is a fact that you need to know. RF denatures proteins. Proteins are the brains of the cells. So when you denature proteins, then the brains of the cells are damaged. So there's two facts that you need to know. Collagen is only one out of 100,000 proteins. So if you want to change the body, okay, and you want to make the body young, and you're talking about an orchestra, like Dr. Nalini is talking, you cannot just change collagen because that's only one instrument. You have to change a lot more things. This is a far more complex process. And when you're using a ref and you denature proteins that are denatured are dysfunctional, and so are the cells. So all basically heat-producing devices, they damage proteins, they denature proteins. And we can renatural them through a resonance process. There's a lot of research now about resonance. This is not the subject of today, however. Now, there is another problem. With repeated treatments, you have the granzyme B that is basically introduced, and that is increasing inflammation and damaging the skin. Now, with the lasers that I do lipolysis, that if they do lipolysis, they don't just dry the water, which is fine. If they actually do lipolysis, either they're going to end up damaging the muscle because the fat enters into the muscle, or they're going to throw all that lipids into the blood, and they could clog the arteries. If for the young people, it's great, you can do anything you like, but for the older people, it could be a problem. And it cannot, the laser, there's no mechanism to detox, just with the laser. The body detoxes. Okay, well, the body detoxes, that's all the bad news, and I know you're not gonna like hearing it, but it's the truth. And you're gonna need exercise or something like exercise to basically create the detoxification. Because an older body might not detox. You're relying on the body, but if the body doesn't do it, it won't do it. This is the basic flaw. If you look at laser studies, what you're gonna see is that they always try to verify hypotheses. So in the first research that I was talking to David Goldman in New York, I asked him how to do his research. What they did, they took biopsies from the site where there was laser, but they never took biopsies from a site that was not treated. Why? Because maybe all of that collagen from the site that was not treated went to the site that was treated to kind of fill in and repair the trauma. And that would be an artifact. So according to Popper, you always have to falsify hypotheses. That's experimental research. Usually in all these laser studies, they verify hypotheses. And I have a very interesting game here. So you have 4 cards, A, B, 1, and 2, okay? And the statement says you have to try to show if the statement is true or false by turning 2 cards. And the statement is, wherever you see A, I have 1 on the other side. And when you ask people which cards are you going to turn, they say I'm going to turn A and 1. But that is only verifying the hypothesis. Basically, you have to turn A and 2, because if it's A behind 2, then the hypothesis has been falsified. I'll give it to you in a more concrete sense so you can understand. Say, every time I go to Hong Kong, I go by train, okay? And most people turn the card of Hong Kong. If it's train, then it's verified. And then they turn the card of train. But it doesn't say that if I go to Shanghai, I don't go by train, right? You can go by train anywhere you like. The card you have to turn is plain, because if it's Hong Kong behind plain, then your statement is falsified. You must falsify hypothesis. And why is health so important? Why? Because COVID has left its mark on everybody. So if you got COVID, you're gonna have neurological problems. 2 out of 3 patients that got COVID ended up in the emergency room for other related disorders. And the problem with COVID is it affects the adaptive immune system that actually recognizes the virus. So that's why people that have interference, it interferes with the interference, basically. And people that do have better interference do not get that many symptoms. So the virus is affecting your adaptive immune system that cannot inspect anything else. And the main causes of death is what? Visceral fat. Well, lasers cannot really remove visceral fat. Neither does a rat. There are some studies that say we did it, but they added exercise, so you don't know which one is there. So anti-aging clinics keep offering beauty. They keep offering slimming, and they ignore the elephant in the room, which is health. But there is a problem, because the longer the system has been established, and this system has been established for many, many years, the more difficult the change. And you cannot have only one person thinking outside the box, because everybody else is in the box. So what happens in most situations is you have like several people gather together and they decide that they have to change themselves, and then they go back and they do what they also did before. Why? Because it's easier to do what you did before. It's easier to go into a sort of linear progress. When a progress that is non-linear, that is exponential, is chaotic, it makes you anxious. So making a change makes you anxious. So, however, exponential change is what gets you to be a pioneer, and it demands to have imagination and creativity. So either you're gonna sort of follow everybody with your eyes closed, or you're gonna be a pioneer, which is it's gonna be a fascinating change. So what Einstein said, don't just think outside the box, just get rid of the box altogether. So this is the change that you have to make. You have to go towards health and be a pioneer. And there is a time that you have to do that before everybody else gets there. Now, this is some of the books that I've written that have been translated in 9 different languages, and a lot of different articles that I have written as well. There's more. And if you'd like to contact me, I would like to conclude with this. Please email me at science@iellios.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Xanya. It's a kind of open the visions. And we have to continue next. And the next is Dr. Napahon Suphorpan.